Welcome to Athena Insights, brought to you by Village TV. My name is Linda Murray. Look, the purpose of this show is really to give you the opportunity to benefit from a whole lot of knowledge, experience and wisdom from industry experts to help you put your best stiletto forward and really maximise your opportunity for success. I am rapt to have the ever so stylish, gorgeous Elise Mah Chut here with me today, who is a fantastic personal stylist who's going to be looking and discussing with us your image, your brand. So welcome, Elise.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So fantastic to have you here. What an honour. So look, as we all know, it only takes 3 seconds, isn't it, to make a first impression? And I wonder if often in business we haven't really invested the time to really think about what impression is it that we're giving, whether that's how you dress, how you speak, how your hair's done, I mean the whole package. So I'm really looking forward to hearing your insights in terms of what we can do about that to actually take responsibility for our personal brand and what have you. So in the professional world, how do you establish your personal brand?
It's a good question because, you know, I bet you the first thing that someone thinks of when they hear the word professional is a suit.
True.
Isn't that
Of
right?
course.
Yeah, you think, oh, I'm a professional, I need to wear a suit.
Yeah.
But professional doesn't necessarily mean wearing a suit all the time. And what I would say to that is you dress for your profession.
Right, so tell me about that.
So what that means is that, look, it depends on what industry you're in, you know. If you're working in, for example, accounting, or if you're a lawyer, obviously you're required to dress up a little bit more in terms of projecting a more formal image to your clients.
Yeah, sure.
But on the other hand, if you're a personal trainer, you're not expected to wear a suit. So I'll give you a classic example. I got a flyer in the letterbox, and it was a promotion for a local gym that, well, it wasn't a local gym, it was a chain of gyms that was starting up locally. And I looked at the flyer and I went, oh, this something doesn't look right there. And then I realised that the image on the flyer was actually endorsed by a very well-known personal trainer. And that personal trainer was wearing a suit.
Oh.
I went, that's a bit odd. And it wasn't until I realised who it was.
Yeah, right.
And I went, oh yes, I'm used to seeing him on TV in his, you know, in his joggers and his workout gear, and that was his personal brand. But on the flyer, his personal brand didn't transpire because he was wearing a suit.
And isn't that funny how you would have that subconscious reaction of repelling from the marketing material you're looking at, but you wouldn't necessarily know why.
Yeah.
But it might have a lot of people not shopping or buying that brand just because it was crunchy.
That's
Something
right.
didn't feel right.
Yeah, that's right. And, you know, because I've watched the show and I know exactly who it was, I picked it up straight away. But for the average, you know, Joe Blow who may not be so aware might think, oh, this is a bit odd, but I don't know why.
It's really interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think the other thing, you talk about dressing for a profession and whether that's a suit. The other thing is work clothes versus non-work clothes, because as business owners or even executives, you are your brand 24/7.
Absolutely.
So what can you tell us in terms of that transition from not just what you wear at work, but when you're offline, if you like?
Yeah. Look, it's very important to be on all the time. And like you said, you know, you want to represent your brand 24/7. And that doesn't mean that you need to wear what you wear to work 7 days a week.
Phew.
Yeah, that's right. So imagine, you know, you're doing your grocery shopping on the weekend, and or you're going to your son or daughter's sporting function. You never know who you're going to meet, especially in our world of business and also in the world of networking. You never know who you're going to bump into, so you need to be on brand all the time.
Yeah.
And you know, it means that you can mix and match your wardrobe. You can bring some pieces from your Monday to Friday wardrobe into your weekend or lifestyle pieces, but it's finding out clever ways of actually dressing it up or down.
Yeah, nice. And then also you come to the issue of personality. So in terms of my personal brand and how I present, how am I bringing me and an element of authenticity and personality to what I'm wearing?
Yeah, absolutely. So personality is key.
Yeah.
I think, you know, when it comes to personal branding, it's very important to determine or know what your personal brand is and what is your brand personality. How do you want people to perceive you? So, you know, Linda, you're a business and executive coach and you
Yeah.
work with a lot of large corporate clients. In your line of work, it tends to be quite serious, but then you bring a fun side to it because, you know, your personality is... That's right. Because, you know, your personality is you're very energetic, you're fun, and you want to portray that in the way that you dress.
Sure.
And again, you've got 3 seconds to make that first impression.
Absolutely.
And I can see that in the colour that you've chosen, and also, you know, your choice of accessories in terms of, a bit of bling that just really brings out your personality. So
Great.
it's just about finding out what you stand for, and you know, and also what is that one thing? What is that one thing that that you think is your signature item? So for you, it could be your accessory. For some people, it might be their hair. It could be their makeup, or you know, for me, it's my lipstick.
Yeah,
I'll do like a bright lipstick. So you know, it could be your shoes. It could be anything. So sometimes it's finding actually determining what is that one thing that makes you stand out from the crowd.
And standing out from the crowd is so important, isn't it? And when we're talking about personal positioning, there is so much same. I mean, for as much as we're fortunate to be in a generation where industries are becoming quite niche and what have you, at the end of the day, if you're a lawyer, there are thousands of lawyers. So what makes you different?
Yeah.
Part of it is what you do and the technical intellect that you bring to it, but another part is how you show up and how to be memorable.
Yeah. Yep, that's right.
Fantastic.
And how do you stand out? How do you push that boundary just that tiny little bit?
She says with a very cheeky look on her face. So can we talk about that? So it's almost the acceptability of what you wear for different places.
Yeah, absolutely. So you know, you can tailor what you wear to what a client expectation is. But I think what I'm trying to get at is know your brand and stick to your brand personality, okay? But at the same time, know the audience that you're talking to. Do a little bit of research in terms of the industry that they're coming from. What is the norm, or what is the acceptable dress code within that industry? And find out if there is a way to push that boundary a little bit. So, you know, to go back to the personal training example, if this personal trainer was doing a corporate, you know, training program where everybody within, you know, his audience is wearing, you know, a suit and very conservative, then you know what, there is no reason for him to still show up in his joggers and you know, or jeans, but he can actually dress up a little bit, but then still stay true to his personality. So such as a smart polo shirt, chinos, and you know, I don't know, boat shoes or something like that, because he's still staying within, he's still staying true to his personality, but then he's dressed up a little bit to suit the audience.
Fantastic.
At the same time, the audience knows that this person is a personal trainer, and they're not expecting him to wear a suit, so that's absolutely acceptable. And this is where you can push the boundaries a little bit, and you don't always have to stick to what your audience consider as the norm.
And you, exactly to your earlier point about the personal trainer wearing the suit, if he were to show up to that conference suited up, that in itself might not fit either.
Absolutely.
So it's about finding that sweet spot almost, isn't it?
Yeah,
and
that's
I know
right.
for me, because I work with executives in large corporates, but also smaller businesses as well. And hearing you talk about personal trainers, one of my clients is actually a health club. And on the one day, I might be in town one-on-one with corporate execs, and then I'll be out at the health club, and then I might come back into town. So to try and dress for multiple occasions, and often I will actually change throughout the day, because what I would feel comfortable wearing, or what would be appropriate within a corporate environment and the health club, are different. So sometimes you've got to do the Clark Kent in the, not necessarily in the phone booth, but find somewhere appropriate to change.
That's right. And you know what? Here's a little tip for you. Now, there's a thing called structure and flow, right? Okay. So something that is quite structured is, for example, a suit. And it doesn't have to be a suit. It could be in the print where it's, you know, for example, a vertical line provides you with a bit of structure, or the illusion of structure.
Sure.
It could be the fabric. Heavier fabrics where it just, you know, falls, that will give you a bit of more structure. And structure tends to be more formal. Okay. And then there's flow on the other side, and you know, that think of, you know, a boho chick.
Yes.
For example, you know, the style is very flowy. It could be the fabric, it could be the colour, so it could be a softer colour, it could be a print.
What about a bow or like a ruffle?
Yeah, or a scarf. So,
Yeah,
you know, I
sure.
could be wearing a suit jacket, but if I add a silk scarf with interesting prints, depending on the print, obviously,
Yes.
that could add a little bit of flow into
Right.
your outfit. And flow is usually more casual.
Right.
Now, if you're transitioning from a corporate client to, you know, to an environment where you don't need to dress so formally, then it might be that you change your jacket or you throw a scarf on or something like that.
Flow.
And it's finding that balance between structure and flow
Yeah,
to change your look.
Fantastic. Good tip.
Yeah.
I like it. Save me getting changed not in phone booths. So look, another thing I think is if you were to want to do a bit of a revamp on your wardrobe, how on earth does one go about that? Because I find when I go shopping,
Yes.
often I will gravitate to pretty much the same area of the
Yep.
same shops and end up buying a whole lot of stuff that looks remarkably similar to stuff I've already got in my wardrobe.
Yes.
So how does one go about a revamp?
Yes, that's right. Look, what you just talked about there is actually your RAS. So that means that you tend to look for the same things that you're used to.
RAS being...
Reticular activating
Great,
system.
thank you. Great.
So, you know, an example is, you know, you've just gone out and bought a new car and you're driving down the street in your new car and all of a sudden you notice the same cars everywhere. So that's an example of that. And same with, you know, shopping, is that when you go and look for a new piece of clothing, you tend to stick to what you know and you end up coming home with the same thing. And it's really to sort of break out of that and think outside the square, consider things that you wouldn't normally consider. In terms of your wardrobe, I think the first question you need to ask yourself is, what is the outcome that you want to achieve? How do you want to be perceived by others?
Okay.
And then does your wardrobe reflect that? Then you go through your wardrobe and try everything on. Just pull out these pieces that you think will work, that reflects your personality, and it's going to help you, you know, being perceived the way that you would like to be perceived.
Fantastic.
And then I would do it, you know, do it that way and get a capsule, almost like a capsule wardrobe together of pieces that work,
Yes.
pieces that may work, provided that, you know, you might make some changes or add a couple of accessories, and then another section of pieces that don't work that you think, you know what, I'm ready to say goodbye.
Which would probably be about 80% of the wardrobe. Don't they say that
Yes.
you wear 20% of your wardrobe 80% of the time?
Absolutely.
Right, so 80% of the wardrobe can probably go.
Probably.
As you said, once you're clear on that outcome. So I know I want to be positioned as X.
Yes.
And then you're aligning your wardrobe to that.
Absolutely. And also
Fantastic.
consider your lifestyle pieces as well. You know, we spoke earlier about being on, even
Yes.
when you're not on.
Yeah.
It's to consider your lifestyle pieces as well, and how that integrates into your professional wardrobe. And then the last thing I would do is, you know, make a list of things that you think you will need. And if you really can't make up your mind, then I will hire a personal stylist.
Because I think that third person or that extra opinion is so important. Because at the end of the day, if you're not mixing and matching outfits correctly, then when you do your wardrobe audit, you're still not going to be mixing and matching them correctly.
Yeah, that's right. And it's not necessarily about spending, you know, thousands of dollars on a new wardrobe. It's about cleverly choosing that right piece that will work with your wardrobe and just making your wardrobe more dynamic and work harder for you.
Fantastic. And what I'm hearing is the end of that process is you go shopping.
Yes. And
Happy days.
Happy days.
That's a great reward at the end of all that.
Yeah, that's right. But at the end of the day, it's more than clothes. It's about your identity
It's so true.
and how you feel when you're in those clothes. And, you know, I've got a favourite saying, you know, you've got to look after yourself before you look after others. And it's not about being selfish. It's about making sure that you are the best that you can be.
Yes.
And that you feel the best that you can be so that you're ready to serve. Whether it be a mum, whether it be, you know, whatever you do professionally, it's about getting this right, and then you can look after everyone else.
Yeah, fantastic. Wonderful, Elise.
Thank
That's
you.
just amazing. Thank you so much for all those great tips, and I look forward to any excuse to go shopping, really. So
Yes.
I think it's time
We
to
should
do a
make a date.
wardrobe audit. Yes,
That's
exactly.
right.
So thank you so much.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
for joining us for another episode of Athena Insights. I hope it's been of great value for you, and we look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you.